the club, plays macros. What's back though? It's a Louis back though.
Holy shit, I rolled the split, choke hold the beat. Flip that, then I sold the shit. Got my wrist on spray, now it's cold as shit. Only you boneless, if you got a bone to pick, I tell you go to strip. While I pull up in that stolen whip, while snacking and I pulling tricks. The only rabbit here is me, I hop on any beat and treat it like Play-Doh and mold this shit. Bitch, I promise.
Yo, it's Zero, and this is What If Naruto Was Raised by Yoriichi, Part 6. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and this will be the last part of background information for the story. So, for me to continue this what if into actual Naruto, get this video to 170 likes. And let's get started with a short recap of Part 5. Yoriichi's family had realized that his brother had something to do with the evil samurai in the world. Because of this, Yoriichi moved his family to the base of their organization. During these coming months, Taiyo and his father would help train many of the samurai who were in the organization, helping them to perfect their techniques and breathing styles. We start Part 6 off with Taiyo and his friends heading to a haunted forest to help those in need. After a week of travel, they would arrive. Zenitsu would yell out, No, I don't want to go in. That looks scary and dangerous." Taiyo smiles. "I'm going in to go save everyone." He puts his hand on the hilt of his blade and dashed off. Tanjiro and Nezuko run trying to keep up. Instinctively, Zenitsu didn't want to be alone, so he followed them as well. Taiyo, from a distance, would see many samurai hung up by strange webs and threads. Breath of the Sun, 9th form. Solo Halo Dragon Dance. As his blade is pulled, flames that create a dragon swarm around his movements as he cuts everyone down from the webs. And this is when a giant man, looking like a cyclops, appears before Taiyo. Taiyo, however, would not back down, stepping as close as possible as they would make eye contact. The other three would then arrive, and Zenitsu screams out while pointing, "Taiyo, what is that thing?" In an instant, the large beast vanished, trying to attack the injured, but his arms will be cut off. "I will save everyone. That is my job as a Hashira. Don't worry, I am here." The beast kicks Taiyo into a tree. As he goes flying, he would then change his movements mid-air to land his feet on the tree and push off back to his opponent. Breath of the Sun, 2nd form. Azure Slash. Nezuko looks at Tanjiro and Zenitsu. "We need to split up to save more people." Zenitsu would shake his head no, but they do so anyway as they would head off. Taiyo then looks at the injured. "If you run from this direction towards the south, by the time you arrive, there should be a medical camp that is set up. I'm sorry I cannot guide you myself, but I will pray to the sun that you all arrive safely." Far away, as Tanjiro runs through cutting people down from the spiderwebs, he sees a strange person who is wearing a boar mask. Well, he still looks human to me. Once Tanjiro cuts him down, the strange kid would kick him and then run off yelling he will win the next battle. With Nezuko, we see her fight begin a little different. She was surrounded by samurai who were controlled by the strings. "Who did this to you all?" One would try to speak, but then his neck was snapped. She quickly remembered her training. Breath of Scorch, 3rd form. Roaring flames. She swings her blade around, and the flames create a tornado, and they send wind in every direction. That would cut many of the trees down, as well as the threads that were holding the people. After this, Nezuko located the target, which was a woman with white hair. Nezuko wasted no time rushing at her. Breath of the Scorch, 5th form. Flame Barrage. Over and over, Nezuko landed cut after cut with grace, finally slicing the woman's body in half. And we can now go to Zenitsu, who is running around and will come face to face with spiders. He begins to run from them, screaming, No, get away, I don't wanna." And then he was cut off in his sentence because he ran into a tree. As the spiders get closer and closer to the unconscious Zenitsu, lightning sparks and they were blown away. Zenitsu was now in his awakened state, and with this power, he demolished his opponent quickly, in a flash. But After finishing, he falls back to his regular state, not yet controlling this power. We finally then see Tanjiro, who is facing the leader, and even though these deadly threads were strong and his sword skills were great, Tanjiro had the advantage after slicing his arm. But after he did so, someone else had appeared. Tanjiro was shocked as a man stood with moon earrings. It must be him. Tanjiro gripped his blade, sort of shaking in fear, but he prepared himself. Suddenly though, someone used his shoulder to bounce off of and attack Kokushibo, and this was no one other than Inosuke. But Kokushibo was ready, and he was too fast, easily dodging every attack and cutting Inosuke across his chest. Tanjiro would then catch him, and then he looks back up at Kokushibo, who had killed the white-haired siblings without hesitation. You both were very useless. And as for you, he turns his gaze to Tanjiro, and he notices the earrings. You must be that man's son. Well, let me repay you for the last time. Kokushibo runs at Tanjiro, who had his eyes closed, protecting Inosuke. Breath of the Moon, first form, Evening Palace. But as the attack goes to hit Tanjiro, it was blocked by no one other than Taiyo, who would be saying, Breath of the Sun, first form, Waltz. Taiyo kicked his uncle away, guarding Tanjiro. How is he, Tanjiro? His friend looks up. Not so good. He's losing a lot of blood and fast. This will be when Taiyo throws off his cloak and he would tie it around Inosuke. This should help for now, but you should take him and meet up with the others. I'll catch up with you soon. Tanjiro runs off carrying Inosuke, but this is when Kokushibo appeared right in front of them. Not so fast. Quickly, Taiyo blocked the strike for Tanjiro, but he was also struck in his side, causing him to bleed. Well, now it seems I didn't teach you enough. Taiyo then gripped his blade. Tanjiro, run out of here. And I'm not here to talk with you. I have something to do. Breath of the Sun, 13th form. Taiyo then began using every form as he evaded the breath of the moon from his uncle. In an instant, he was landing cuts on his uncle over and over. Taiyo was in his element. You could say it was his prime. But even though he was so great, even great enough to become a Hashira at such a young age, there was always one thing that would be holding him back in life. And that was the thing that kept him from reaching the level of his masters. He could only train his young body so far. And on his next strike, as he was about to end the battle, every part in his body cramped up as it would pause, and then he would be slashed across his chest. Taiyo fell to the ground and closed his eyes, seeing as how much blood he was losing. But for those who actually know who Taiyo is and who've kept up with the story, well, Taiyo's story would end here. But Taiyo also used to be known as Naruto Uzumaki. And Naruto Uzumaki had a great power sealed inside of him. Taiyo wakes up in water, looking at the nine-tailed fox. Well, brat, looks like you finally arrived, and at the worst timing as usual. You're about to die. Taiyo stared at the orange fox. Are you the sun god? Kurama shouts, you fool, I am the nine-tailed fox. And seeing as you're about to die, I'll help you out since you're not a part of that village. Kurama gives Taiyo some of his chakra, and then on the outside, as Kokushibo began to walk away, he felt something as he had tears in his eyes. He felt regret, but in an instant, it sort of changed to fear as he feels an overwhelming pressure. It was like something was right on his back, and that something wanted his blood. He turned around, seeing Taiyo, who arose, now having an orange aura resembling the sun. Let's finish this. Taiyo closed his eyes as even his pupils would disappear as they were pure white. Breath of the Sun, 14th form. There's no way. Could he have really created a 14th form? Nine-tailed blaze. Taiyo moves his blades so fast, making it seem as if he has 9 total blades. This attack strikes his opponent in 8 different spots, leaving very deep cuts in his body. The flames from this form also burn longer than the others, because of him borrowing the power from the Nine Tails. Kokushibo couldn't move or predict where each strike was coming from, and this led to Taiyo landing every hit. As they both stood standing, as Taiyo backed away, he noticed that it was becoming noon. They were fighting all night, so he put his blade back on his lower back. "We'll finish this another time, Uncle." Taiyo ran off and Kokushibo retreated, injured, wondering what that power was. How could the boy come back to life? I was sure I killed him. Even as Taiyo ran, he questioned himself. Did I really create a new form thanks to that fox? And how did that fox get inside me? Is that what this strange symbol is on my stomach? Could this be why they hated me so long ago? Taiyo would eventually arrive outside the forest where everyone was. Alright, is everyone here? Tanjiro would nod, and then Taiyo would say, Breath of the Sun, Hidden Technique, Sun's Grace. As the light spread all around, everyone was healed, as the flames of life touched every soul. But Taiyo frowned when seeing the body of a dead comrade. Taiyo would begin to cry as tears flooded his face. I would give my life to see this samurai alive. I'm a Hashira. I'm supposed to defeat the evil and save all, am I not? And I completed neither of those things today. This is when Inosuke punches him across his face. Stop saying dumb stuff like that. You saved my life, whoever you are. I don't know your name, but you're really cocky and strong, and you're pretty young. I remember fighting you in the forest. I thought you killed me, but you need to celebrate. Taiyo looked behind the older kid in a boar mask to see the smiling faces of many samurai who had survived because of him and his friends. He then smiled. Yeah, you're right. Let's start heading back. Taiyo stood up once again, and as the samurai would begin to turn back and go to the base of the organization, as they would report the mission after weeks of travel, Taiyo rested at the medical center. He had bandages placed over his ribs and arms. The Nine Tails only did enough to revive him and temporarily give him enough power to defeat Kokushibo. But even Taiyo didn't finish the job because he knew what was more important. But this isn't where I want to end it before the time skip. I'd rather end it here, far away in the snowy mountains. As a samurai bowed to a figure on a throne, the man stood up, and he saw people who had entered, who were wearing black and red cloaks.